Welcome, welcome, bloody welcome to the show which is called
Sunday Chat.
And first of all, let us begin with a prayer. Not really.
No.
Let us begin by saying welcome, bloody welcome to all our new subscribers who've recently joined us here on Richard and Paul. That's right. And remember, if you want it all, watch Richard and Paul. It's true. So yes.
You did the striptease on your live the other day, didn't you? Yeah. So do watch that Friday evening.
I did not,
Didn't
Paul.
you?
No, stop being all clickbaity. The one thing we can't stand is clickbait. You'll very rarely see a clickbait title on this channel.
Yeah.
Other than I baked a brick. But I did.
You did.
It was like a brick.
It was a tasty brick.
It was a very tasty brick.
It was.
But I reformulated the brick recipe.
He did.
And there's going to be a new version coming up in Richard's vlogs, out on a Wednesday.
Yes. Richard cooks a light brick.
Yeah, a lighter brick.
Yeah.
But again, very tasty brick. So, yes.
May I say, Richard, how very youthful you're looking today.
A youthful glow. I wonder why. Maybe it's that face oil that I've been using that's turned back the clock.
Yes.
That's right. And if you're interested in blending your own face and hair oil, I've got you.
Oh, did you do that then? Did you do that?
Well, I wouldn't be pointing at nothing, Paul. But only a small number of people, an elite group of people watched it.
Actually, you generally, as subscribers and viewers, watch more of each of our videos than we watch of each other's videos, don't you?
I don't watch your videos.
I don't really watch it.
Why would I? I live with you. I don't want to watch you on video as well.
Oh, extra time of Richard.
Seriously?
And Paul. Yeah.
So yes, welcome to new subscribers, and I just wanted to let you know, for information, pour l'information. I'm not going to carry on in French. Quelque chose. Quelque chose. Bon chance. I don't know. Shush now, Paul.
Fruit de mer.
Quel dommage. Quelle surprise. Tout le monde. Shush.
Soufflé.
Just stop. Vol au vent.
Vol au vent, yeah. What's the one in the ice cream with the thing in the middle that you baked? Oh no, that's baked Alaska. That's not French, no.
No. It's Alaskan, Paul. God. You see, you've put me off my stride now.
May I say, Richard, how lovely and youthful you're looking today.
Reset. What's that beeping noise?
Oh, that's Instant Pot.
Was that Northern, Paul?
Perhaps? Yeah, it's a Northern Instant Pot. Yeah.
What have you got in the Instant Pot, Paul? Before I carry on with what I was saying before.
Rice.
Rice. Le riz.
Yeah, le riz brun.
All wheat. Okay.
All wheat. Oh, dearie me. Yeah.
Why?
I think we
it's
should
not whole wheat, is it?
No.
Because it's not wheat, it's rice.
No, it's right.
I know.
Whole grain. It is.
All grain.
Yeah. We should give French lessons, shouldn't we? Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we're so good at
Absolutely, yeah. I think people would pay for our French lessons.
I had private French lessons for a year.
You did, didn't you?
I did. She used to slap my hand if I got things wrong.
Yeah.
I know. She was a bitch.
She was lovely, yeah.
Okay, yes.
And still is.
Shush now, Paul. God. Honestly.
May I say how gorgeous and youthful you're looking today, Richard?
Reset. We're going round in a loop. We're stuck in a loop now. Yeah. People are going to think they're watching Doctor Who.
Gosh,
don't come out, son.
Oh yeah, he didn't like the sun.
Well, a little bit
No.
extra bleaching on the skin wouldn't go amiss.
Mm.
I mean, in terms of light, I don't bleach my skin.
No.
No, not yet.
Or any other part.
Not
No.
yet.
No.
I used to bleach the hair here. I
Oh,
used to
you
have
did,
quite
didn't
dark
you?
hair growing, and I didn't want to shave it, so I used to bleach it with Jolene. Do you remember Jolene cream bleach?
Wasn't that a song?
No, that's
with
Jolene.
Dolly Parton.
That's Jolene.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, rewind, reset, back to the beginning. So wanted to let new subscribers know that we're on Facebook, Richard and Paul. We also run a private Facebook group called Planet Vegetarian. That's a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. Richard and Paul since 2017. That's contractual. And if you want to join Planet Vegetarian, come along, press join and answer the questions. And then the computer will let you in.
If
and
you don't answer...
you won't get let in.
No, you don't get
That's
let in.
it.
Yeah.
But it's a really lovely, friendly space. Forget all the
Rubbish.
crud on Facebook. This is different. It's different, friendly, welcoming, lovely, full of the Richard and Paul community spirit that we've grown over the years. Over those long years.
It's counting them, yeah, not a long time.
Yeah. And also we're on Instagram, Richard and Paul, and also we have a Ko-fi supporters page as well, where you can follow us and you can choose to support us if you wish by buying us a coffee on Ko-fi. I do find that odd.
Yeah,
That they call it Ko-fi.
Yeah,
But we love
definitely
it.
Yeah.
We love our supporters page. It's fantastic. And there's also a Ko-fi shop where you can do a digital download of some of my beautiful pictures.
You can, yeah.
They are good.
Yeah.
They are good. Ideal for wallpapers on your phone or your tablet or desktop.
Why are they called wallpapers?
Because it's a wallpaper.
Well, it's not, it's a screen. It used to be called screensavers, didn't they?
Whatever, Paul.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it. Spoil it. So, what's on the agenda today? So, we usually kick off with Richard and Paul's weather
What about
report.
the old wrinklies?
What?
Welcome to all of our
Well, of
old,
course.
long-time,
Of
wrinkly
course.
subscribers who have
course.
been with us
Since the
for
beginning.
eternity.
Since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beginning of Richard and Paul
And,
time.
and welcome to those of you watching from other areas of the universe. Welcome. Yeah. I wonder what welcome is in Klingon. I think that was quite good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Forget the French lessons. We're teaching Klingon here. So weather-wise, well today was supposed to be apocalyptic thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Weather warning, warning, warning. Have we had any thunderstorms, Paul? And also there was meant to be a month's rainfall in one day. Has there been a month's rainfall in one day, Paul? No, there hasn't. But what has the weather been like this week, Paul? From a grower's point of view. Can you go on?
It's been quite good, really, because it's been generally quite warm, though the evenings have been dipping down and the overnights have been dipping down. But we've had sun and we've had rain, so it's been quite balanced for this time of year. A bit lower temperature than normal. And now, Richard, the sun is coming out.
Oh, I know. If it comes out, it's going to get too bright in here.
So yeah, things are growing relatively well, though I have noticed there is one bed where whenever I put things into that bed, they seem to take quite a while to get going, and I'll be talking about that in next week's A Week at the Plot, because I'll be asking questions because I don't know why.
Do people have to answer the questions?
They don't have to.
But they can.
They can if they wish.
It's just almost like a Week at the Plot quiz.
It's like Week at the Plot suggestion box, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, that's not the upload that comes out tomorrow. That's the one that will come out in a week's time.
So talking about a week's time, a week ago we were down at the Great Green Barn.
We were.
Weren't we? Watching the great-great-grandson of Gerald of Charles Dickens, Gerald Dickens.
Yeah, you got that wrong, didn't you?
Cut.
So yeah, it was really great. Gerald was doing 2 shows in the evening.
Yeah.
The first was Dickens is Coming, and the second, or Charles Dickens is Coming, and the second was
Dr. Marigold.
Dr. Marigold, which I'd never read, and was a really fabulous piece. It really was. Both of them were great in very different ways. So the first piece was very much Gerald taking us through various of the works and the characters that we all know from Dickens, whether we've read them, as I have read some of them, or we haven't read them, as Richard hasn't read any of them.
Rub it in. I confessed to Gerald that I'd never read any Dickens.
You did in your interview that you did with him, which we're going to put up here. Yeah. So, yeah, but you know, we've all, I think, seen Dickens adaptations on TV, so we know those characters. So that was really great. And the second piece was about the travelling salesman, basically, and his life, and really poignant and touching and funny, and rather sad yet joyous at the same time. And we had a really nice time afterwards as well, didn't we? After people had gone, you know, there's that quiet time where we were just chatting about the evening, Vanessa, myself, you and Gerald, and then Gerald wended his way, and then we sort of went off, and it was really nice.
Yeah, it was. It was a good evening.
It was the first time you'd met Gerald.
Yeah, but you've known him for quite some time because you've worked with him before.
Yeah, we developed a piece of theatre with I think I said this last week, with the playwright and screenwriter Geoffrey Hatcher for a client in Minneapolis. So, yeah, it was a great evening, and he's back in November at the Great Green Barn doing The Signalman, which I think is one of the greatest ghost stories ever written, and also a piece called Sykes and Nancy.
And if you want more information on the Great Green Barn, which is located down in Shamley Green in Surrey, go to the description box below and have a look, and you'll find links, and you'll find them online, on Facebook. So yes, if you are in the area and there's a show on, it's well worth a visit. And of course, also it's on the same site as For Earth's Sake, the plastic-free shop, which you can visit. I think it's open Wednesday to Saturday.
9:30 to 4:30.
Yeah, there you go. Lovely, Paul. Now, Paul, you wanted to raise a couple of subjects, les sujets. You wanted to first of all talk about Amazon robots.
Oh yes. Something
you read.
Yeah, I read that Amazon are now developing robots to do the sort of last segment of delivery of what they sell online, obviously. So at the moment they have a driver going around with a van mostly, and that driver is delivering everything. What they're now looking at doing is getting robots in to also deliver packages. So when the driver stops, the driver can go off and deliver one package to one address, and the robot can go and do another one. And I find all of this, as we sort of rush towards AI and robotics and all of that, I just wonder where the paying jobs are going to be, because I genuinely cannot see, the way things are going, where those jobs are going to be. There is going to have to be a universal income for people globally, because where are people going to earn the money to spend on the things that all of these billionaires and others, big corporates, are trying to sell us, and in fact successfully selling us? You know, the money is just being, as I've said this before, it's being drained to the top, and it's not being created down here. And at the end of the day, if we don't have money being created basically at the bottom of the food chain, which is where we all are, then there can't be any money going to the top because people will just not be able
Well, I
to
don't
afford
think we're
things.
at the bottom of the food chain.
Well, I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know. I think
that
we're
expression is probably slightly incorrect.
no. I think in terms of sort of capital growth terms, I think we are at the bottom of the food chain. We are the food that all of the billionaires feed off above us, and they suck our wealth out.
Okay.
That's what happens, you know.
But I mean, what kind of robots are they talking about? Because, you know, if it's the Terminator, I don't want the Terminator knocking at my door with a parcel. And also, how are they going to navigate around my lavender bush?
I know. I mean,
and the brick path.
Yeah.
And the car. So, you know, it's going to take twice as long. I've seen this speed that some of those robots operate, and they're very slow.
But if you look at sort of
Unless they're building a car.
At new places where they all have a box where post gets put for big apartment blocks.
Yeah.
I can see how that can work.
Yeah, okay.
And also many, I mean, Minneapolis I mentioned before, Minnetonka, which one of the people that I know used to live there, all of those houses are really well spaced out, or many of them, with big sort of yards, and it's easy. It would be easy just to take something and put it on a doorstep, you know. So, yeah.
But I think it's interesting though, Paul, because if you look back in history, automation was what's the word? It was a celebrated thing, wasn't it? You know, for the housewives of the 30s and 40s, life was very hard until machines started coming in and doing those jobs that were very, very difficult, like washing machines, vacuum cleaners, dishwashers, dryers, and of course now we've got little robot vacuum cleaners that scoot around doing stuff. We haven't, but I mean, you know, I'd love one personally. But it's where do you put it? Because it's got a charging station, a cleaning station. You know, where do you put that? Unless you've got the room. And do you have one on every floor if you've got more than one floor? But generally, automation was celebrated. So I think we've got that sort of afterglow of that period, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we have.
Where people are sort of wondering, well, people were maybe 30, 40 years ago, wondering about where the future would go and dreaming about all of these things. And I guess robots have been used in manufacturing for quite some time now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look at those production lines. We forget that most of our stuff that we buy has been made on a production line.
Yeah, generally with a robot, at least one place in that production
roboticized
line.
actions, you know. Cars are very often built by robots, aren't they? You know,
well, yeah, of course they are.
Certain stages of the manufacturing process.
I mean, certainly a lot of it has. Even the sort of lifting of panels and things is done by a robot, and even if it's managed by a person, they're not doing the heavy lifting and things.
But also, I think in terms of, you know, the thinking about robots in the home, you know, a robot to help out with the cooking and cleaning. I mean, there isn't really the space because you're inviting another being into your home, aren't you? I mean, you know, it would take ages for a robot to navigate around our house through furniture and things like that, and doors and, you know, little steps and whatever. I mean, I just don't see it working.
No, well, I don't. And, you know, you're talking about housewives and all of that gadgetry coming in, you know, to make life easier.
But gadgets
what actually
versus
happened,
robots are a different thing.
Yeah, but what actually happened was that in order to pay for all of that, housewives then started going out to work, and of course they became more independent, which is absolutely great.
Exactly.
But you needed to earn the money to actually get all of those gadgets anyway. So you still have to do the washing and all of that. So it's I find life is just getting too complex now. Maybe that's it.
Well, I kind of liked the idea that Amazon had a while back about the little flying
Yeah,
drones
well, they've still
dropping
got that,
parcels
haven't they?
outside of people's houses. I thought that was quite fun. Yeah. But hey, no, I don't think the robot thing wouldn't work around here because the person would have done the deliveries before the robot's done one.
Yeah, I think that's true around here, but I think there are places where it might work.
For those of you who don't know, we live in a borough, the London Borough of Ealing, in a place called Hanwell, and it's intense population. So you've got a lot of rows of old Victorian houses and terraced houses next to each other. So there's a lot of people in one street. Very often those houses are divided into flats. So you've got a lot of people in a small area. And actually, I would have thought that kind of makes it a little bit easier sometimes for the delivery people.
Well, I think it does, yeah.
Because they can do a lot. I mean, when you track the van, you can see they've got quite a lot to do before they reach you, and that can take some time.
Yeah, but sometimes it can say you're 4 customers away, but then you see the van park outside and you realise that 4 customers are over there, and you know, so yeah.
Interesting. Paul, you also wanted to mention Octopus Energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're with Octopus, and I think it's a really good energy company. It's renewable. I think they do an awful lot of good. Though I think their messaging often is out.
So what happened?
And well, we received our bill for last month, and on the bill, it's all detailed what we had used in terms of gas and electricity. But on the bill, it said that we could save £52 a year by switching to a different tariff with Octopus. So I thought, well, why would you not want to save £52 a year? So I went onto the app on my phone and looked at what that new tariff would be. And I worked out that not only was the standing charge higher, but the cost per unit of energy was higher as well. So that's not going to save, that's going to cost us more. And then that vanished in the option on my phone to do it, which I thought was quite bizarre. And then I went online, and I couldn't do it online. And then I sent an email off to Octopus saying, it says I can save £52, how do I do that because I can't change the tariff? And the one I looked at was more expensive. Then a few days later, this was on Saturday, so then on Monday I get an email back saying, you are on the cheapest tariff. It was it wasn't a stock email, it was clearly an email written to me. And it said, you're on the cheapest tariff, so please, do not change. You cannot change unless you go to another, provider. And then I looked at the actual unit prices on the app, and the unit prices that it said we were on for our tariff was higher than the one that I knew we were on. And I looked back at the bill to find that the bill units and standing charge were cheaper. And then I made a phone call to find out that the details on the app were wrong. And it's sort of like, that's wasted most probably about 45 minutes of my time going through all of this to find out that actually the information that I was sent was wrong, and the information on the app is wrong. And it's sort of like, why? All of these things, they must be so easy now to just say, move to a cheaper tariff or you're on the cheapest tariff. I didn't understand it, unless of course they brought in a tariff and then got rid of it straight away, which I suppose could have happened.
I guess so.
And if they did do that, they most probably wouldn't let you know anyway. So
you also wanted to mention Thames Water as well, because they put their prices up. So in this area, we're under Thames Water as our water supply company. And Thames Water have been under fire for quite a number of years now for not repairing the systems, because a lot of our sewage and water supply systems are Victorian. So they need replacing and repairing. And of course, meanwhile, Thames Water have been paying their bosses huge bonuses, and their shareholders as
Dividends.
well. Dividends.
Yeah.
And not using the money to repair the system.
Even though they say they have.
So now what's happening is that cost is being passed on to the consumer, which of course is wholly unfair when people are receiving millions of pounds worth in huge bonuses and we're getting impaired supplies. So, yeah,
And
what happened, Paul?
Well, basically, I look back at our bill for 2 years ago, 2023. We were paying £21 a month in 2023, 2 years ago.
On a metre?
On a metre.
Yeah.
So nothing has changed there. And now we're going to be paying £43 a month. Now, I knew that the prices were rising, and they rose in April. And I hadn't really had a close look at it. But because we had credit on our account, I was looking at the credit, and of course the credit was reducing what we were paying each month, if you like, because some of that was being taken in. And then I think it just dawned on me the other day when it said you need to pay another £14 a month on top of what we were already paying to keep ahead of the game for next year. And yeah, I just thought, this is ludicrous, and we've been saying this during the week. It will get to a point where you're paying a huge amount of money just for the basics, for the absolute basics.
Well, what's going to happen with the cost of living crisis that is still continuing in the UK? What is going to happen is your money's going to come in and go out to pay your bills. There is going to be no money to put back into the local economy, to use other services, leisure services, for example. There's going to be no money. Nobody's going to have any money to do any of that. It's going to come in and out. People aren't going to live as such. They will just be paying to exist. That's how it's going to become. And it is absolutely ridiculous. And the comparison with other European countries is huge. The difference is huge, I saw a video the other day, and a guy on LBC talking about going to Spain and buying a round of drinks in a bar, and how much that was and how much it would be in this country. It was at least double the cost in this country. So, we don't go out and buy coffees, we don't go out and eat.
Rarely.
We certainly don't, very rarely.
Yeah.
We certainly don't go out and drink because we simply could not afford to do that. And very often we've got better at home, frankly.
Yeah.
Certainly better food.
Better food. Yeah.
So, it is ridiculous. It's getting very dark, Paul.
Well, you were worried about the sun before.
Oh, it's getting very dark. Maybe the apocalyptic thunderstorms are almost here, Paul.
Maybe your youthful glow is diminishing.
God, I hope not.
Must have to check that.
Get closer to the light. Go into the light. Don't go into the light.
Into the light. Oh, so there we are. Yeah, Sunday Whinge Fest. Yeah.
There you go. So, it's a new month, isn't it?
It is. And of course, we are now. Last week we were recording saying that Sunday was going to be the start of meteorological summer. Now we're in summer. I've got my hoodie on.
We're now in
You've got
summer.
your fleecy thing on.
It's cold. So June, the start of Gypsy, Roma and Traveller History Month. Pride Month begins. You've got a June bank holiday in Ireland.
Oh, Ireland. No, what is that?
We've also got Hajj, which is the Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca. You've got the Appleby Horse Fair, which is traditional Romany and Traveller gathering. Whit Sunday on the 8th. Trinity Sunday on the 15th. Father's Day on the 15th. Then you've got the solstice on the 21st.
And then we have Midsummer Revels at For Her Sake on the 22nd. And that's a family fun day.
You've got the pagan midsummer celebration on the 21st as well. World Humanist Day on the 21st. St. John's Day on the 25th. And then the Islamic New Year, 1447. That's the year that they're on. Begins at the sighting of the crescent moon.
That's 7 centuries behind.
So moon guidance for June, full moon in Sagittarius. Celebrate and expand. New moon in Cancer, 25th. Protect and nurture. Ooh, so interesting things from the almanac.
He didn't read out any gardening, I noticed.
No, I'm not going
I'll
to
have
go
to
into
check
that.
on
You'll
that
have
later.
to look. You'll have to look yourself. So, broadcast day is, what day is it? 8th.
8th of June.
We're recording this Saturday afternoon.
The
And we had to wait
7th
until the
June.
afternoon because the building site was active this morning.
I mean, it's still active now, but they're not allowed to make noise after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the thing. So they're still doing stuff, but the jackhammer that was going on up to about 12:30 is finished. It does look as though it's going to chuck it down.
It does. Ooh.
I won't have to water my beans.
Okay, this is... Shush now, Paul. God. This is an interesting word. Anonymuncule. 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 Ooh, I'm quite excited.
I have no idea what
This is
this
a
one
word
is.
for every day of the year by Stephen Poole, gifted to me by Vivi Gregory, of What Vivi Did Next, and Vivi's kitchen garden and cottage by the sea. Thank you, Vivi. Word of the week. Anonymuncule, one of the favourite pastimes of writers through the ages, has been to dream up insults to hurl at other writers. Let us celebrate Algernon Swinburne doing just that in a letter he wrote to a friend in 1867, complaining manfully about some nameless critic who had attacked his work. I have always found, Swinburne wrote airily, that these anonymuncules vanish or collapse as soon as one attempts to set foot on them. Formed from anonymous and homunculus, Latin for little man, this term for a petty, anonymous writer was in fact coined so well and scientifically defined, as Swinburne noted, by the novelist and playwright Charles Reade, who was born on this day in 1814. It could as well be usefully employed today for nameless trolls on the internet.
Well, there we are.
Bloody anonymuncules. I like that one. That's a good word.
Can I give you a coincidental linkage?
You may, Paul.
So, Charles Dickens, going back to Dickens, I mentioned a short while ago, and I think I mentioned last week, about a piece that we developed with Gerald and Jeffrey Hatcher and myself and my client in Minneapolis. And the piece that we developed was from a book that Charles Dickens wrote called The Life of Our Lord, which he wrote just really for his children. He wrote that in a rented house on the Isle of Wight, which they would rent each summer, and the house next door was where Algernon Swinburne and his parents lived.
Well, blow me down and call me Rita.
Isn't that bizarre? What a coincidence.
Well, what a coinky-dinky.
There we are.
Yeah. How lovely, Paul. Thank you for that mind-blowing information.
I know. I think I should write to lots of people.
What I
let them
believe
know.
when a coincidence happens It is the universe's way of telling you that you're in the right place at the right time. So let's hope lightning doesn't strike. Lovely. Lovely, Paul.
Lovely, Richard.
It's time for the final, le finale segment de la show. Oh, yeah. What have we watched on television?
Quelque chose télévision.
Quel regardez, quel nous regardons
Trois
à la télévision.
umbrelles.
À la umbrella?
Yeah,
What
3
is
umbrellas.
that? It's a parapluie. An umbrella. Parapluie, Paul. God, even I know that. So what have we watched? So we have started watching the new series of Canal Boat Diaries with Robbie Cummings, or whatever his name is, on his canal boat going around the waterways of Britain.
Yeah. They know that. We talked about it last week. We've continued watching it.
Part of me enjoys it because it's very relaxing to watch, it's very slow pace on the waterways.
Chill.
But I get a little bit annoyed by all the bloody regulations.
What?
Oh, God. Well, you can't do that because of this.
Oh,
Well, you can't go up that canal again because you've been on that last week and you can't go back up it again this week.
Well,
silly things
they
like
have to manage those things, don't
having to
they?
pay to go on a certain stretch of the river and having to do... You can't moor up there, you're not allowed to moor there. You can only stay for 24 hours, then you've got to move on. I mean, oh, really? Nobody's free, are they? Really?
Are you channeling your Kenneth Williams?
Really? What?
Well, it
No.
sounds like this.
But nobody is. Nobody's free. Oh, I'll buy a canal boat and live on the water. Not without doing this, that and t'other.
But it's the same. I mean, you think sort of, oh, it'll be a nice free and easy life maybe
No.
on the canals.
No.
But actually, as you
don't
say,
think it is.
there's the same, different rules and regulations that you have to go by, just as the same as people who aren't regular boat dwellers. So yeah, wherever there are regulations.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Rip off Britain, left, right and centre, I tell you. There's no freedom in this country.
Well, is there in any way?
We continue with the good life. And it's
Which-
interesting, isn't it? Because most of it, I actually don't find that funny.
I don't find it funny now. Yeah,
No.
I don't.
I find his character, Tom, just annoying.
Which I have done for a long time.
Barbara's character, I mean, she's always been a sweetie and feisty. But I think people watched it because they fancied her most of the time. She was billed, wasn't she, as this cutesy little sexy thing.
Yeah.
The only character I actually find funny is Margot.
Well, yeah, I mean, Margot is the main funny character, isn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, it's very much like Will and Grace. The two side characters are actually more funny than the main two characters.
Exactly. So, I mean, it was such a huge programme, but people didn't really have much choice back then. Really.
And we had, I mean, it was simpler times. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There was less choice, and I'm not sure having more choice, as we're constantly told we should have, is necessarily a good thing. But I think there should be a range of choice, but it doesn't need to be vast.
But isn't it interesting how people found the concept of somebody digging up their garden and growing their own veg funny in the 70s? Because it wasn't that far away from the time where people had to.
Well, Dig for Britain. It wasn't far from that.
Exactly. So, I find it very odd that people found that concept strange and funny when their parents had to do that.
But I think it's because it was. I mean, supermarkets were really taking ground. Work was changing, as we said. The domestic kitchens were all changing. Women were going out to work, and it was sort of thought. I don't think it was found to be odd. I think it was found to be funny that you would want to go back to what people were doing 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago.
And also,
rather than just keep up with the consumerization that was going on then.
But also it was the placement of them in Surbiton, which is Surrey, supposedly posh area.
Well, it is a posh area.
Well, I don't think it's that posh.
Well, it was then.
Yeah. But I mean, it's interesting when you see their road. There's no cars. There's hardly a car passes. It's empty. There were so fewer cars at that time.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting to see. Now you just can't move for a car. But yeah, don't find it that funny other than the odd bit by Margot personally. So, it's
but it is of its time.
It's interesting that it's being celebrated at the moment as...
Well, it's 50 years, isn't it?
I know.
And Penelope Keith is doing a special, which I think is going to be out later this year, looking back on 50 years of The Good Life.
Yeah. So, we watched a movie, Looper. Oh, frankly, it sent me a bit loopy. It's a little bit hard to follow.
It is. I've seen it once before. We actually watched it over 2 nights, and yeah, it's got time travel in it, which is why we both like time travel and the.
I don't like it if it's too complicated.
It was a bit complicated about people being sent forward or back in time. No, back in time, wasn't it? Yeah, 30 years back in time. Anyway.
We watched another old movie on YouTube. YouTube's quite good for old movies.
It is. It's great.
And the quality nowadays is quite good on TV,
that one,
wasn't it?
The quality of this one.
It's very clean
Night
print.
of the Party.
Night of the Party, 1934. And for a 1934 movie, it looked very clean.
Really
and the sound
clean.
was very good as
Absolutely. There was no spotting or flaring or anything like that. It was a...
But I can't remember the end because I think
you fell asleep. It's an interesting piece, and of course they all talk like that. They all talk very jolly,
don't they?
Yeah.
How lovely.
Yeah, and it's good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's relatively short, maybe an hour and 15, an hour and 30, something like that.
We continue with Glow Up simply because Paul likes it. I saw Val the other day doing an advert for one of those masks. Have you seen those masks?
I haven't seen
those
these.
Anti-aging masks with the different coloured lights inside that make you look like Michael Myers from Halloween. Well, I saw an advert. She had no makeup on.
Well, I
very
think
brave of her.
Absolutely, and it shows you the skills of makeup artists as well.
You're telling me.
But I think it's great that she did that. She
I'm not having a go at
stripped herself bare and did. But I find this, and it's a Shark thing. It's made by your vacuum.
You were going to say it's a shock. It was a shock to me.
It's made by the vacuum cleaner people. Shark.
I quite like one, Paul.
Bizarre.
A snip at £370.
You are joking.
No, I know.
What's it actually do? It's UV and
uses
something.
Different Paul, God, get with the programme. It uses different wavelengths of light to rejuvenate and bring out the youthful glow.
Yeah, but does it really?
What?
Well, you don't need it. Have I said, Richard, how gloriously youthful you're looking today?
Reset.
So yeah, Glow Up.
I mean, I'd like to try one.
Dear.
I wonder if you can hire them.
No.
No, I suppose you couldn't, being a...
There would need to be a sort of face thing, like a shield, wouldn't there?
Well, that would defeat the object
of
having wavelengths of light.
Yeah, we could put some greaseproof paper on your face and then shove it on.
I think it's time to get to the end of the show now.
Yay!
So, yes, and we watched Have I Got News For You, which is BBC One.
I think it's coming to the end of its life, Have I Got News For You. I find... I don't know. This series in particular doesn't seem as well directed. There's a lot of interchat, which is quite fun, but it's not what the show really is.
Well, hey ho.
Yeah.
Hey ho. tits and bums.
I think it shows when you've got a really good host, as there have been a couple this season.
I quite like
The
Richard
structure
Ayoade.
all comes together. I quite liked the show, but I felt it was losing a bit of structure.
Anywho, that's time to say goodbye now.
Goodbye now.
It's time to say goodbye.
Is it?
Yes.
Yay!
Whoa! Another one in the bag.
You know, we are a quarter of the way through June.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
What was I going to say?
I don't know.
I mean, it's. I felt as though May, I said this last week, didn't really go that fast. I felt it went at a decent pace.
Yeah.
June seems to be whipping by, I
Whipping
think.
by, like
Yeah.
a whip.
Yeah, well, like
Like a
cracking
whipping.
Cracking whip.
Time to say goodbye now. Shush now, Paul. Thank you.
I quite like to learn that sort of whip cracking thing. I quite
You could do it with
like.
a towel.
Oh, you can, can't
Yeah.
you?
I do
Does
it
it
with the
need
washing.
to be a slightly damp tea towel?
I
doesn't
do it with the washing
Do
every
you?
time I shake and it whip cracks.
Oh, amazing!
I know.
Amazing. It's amazing you do that, yet my collars on my shirts all end up all wrinkled and not
I
very
don't do
good.
it to your clothes,
Oh,
just mine.
right. There we are, that's why.
You don't mind looking
That's
like
why.
a tramp, Paul?
No, I genuinely, I don't really care. No.
So, thank you very much for watching yet another episode of...
Sunday Chat!
And don't forget, we've got a lot of things on offer for you here on our channel. Trawl through the playlists. Watch all the adverts. Do it now.
Is that a command? Is that sort of like, do? Is that like that? Is
Look
it
into
all...
my eyes. Don't look away from my eyes. Look into my eyes. I had to blink then because one of them went dry. I tell you, I could do without a corneal abrasion and a trip to A&E.
Yeah, we don't want that. No.
Bye then. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
See you again soon.
Come again.
Watch A Week at the Plot.
Watch all the adverts.
Watch Richard's vlogs.
Yeah, come on.
Do all the cooking on Richard's videos.
Yeah, and tell us
I
how
love
you did.
Richard's videos when he's cooking. They're really lovely.
Yeah, shush now, Paul. Go
They're
on.
great.
Honestly, going on and on and on.
Bye. Bananas.